Jide Ogunsanwo, our data and information analyst, joins us. Jide, you've been looking at this trend and these Benue killings and ensuring that food security is, safeguarded in Nigeria. What have you come up with?
So again, there are several ways we could look at this, but for Nigerians, let's look at it in three ways. So this morning, let's talk about understanding herdsmen 101. And that would allow us to understand...
Taking us back to the class.
Oh, yes. So it allows us to understand the background. Now, the second thing we'll talk about will be understanding herdsmen 201, which looks at the real cause of the problem. And then we'll also look at understanding herdsmen 311, the potential solutions. So let's look at understanding herdsmen 101. Over 2 centuries ago, Benjamin Franklin had said, an investment in education gives the best yield. 2 centuries after, if Benjamin Franklin were in Nigeria, he would not be able to say that today. Why? Because we now have information that Nigerians spend more money eating beef than they spend on education. And so Malcolm X clearly was wrong when he said education is the passport of the future. Maybe he was right for other countries, but in Nigeria, education isn't the passport of the future, especially when we have information that we now eat more beef than we spend on education. Owning a cow, owning a cow is now the passport of the future in Nigeria. And so the herdsmen will protect their future with all they've got. Now let's look at, again, part of understanding herdsmen 101 is we ask ourselves, who are those financing these herdsmen? And so we are quick to say, oh, perhaps ISIS, perhaps Al-Qaeda. We even say perhaps it's Hezbollah. But is that the fact? No, it isn't. The fact shows that in Nigeria today, 5 states consume 1/3 of the beef we all eat. 5 states. Now, what are these states? Lagos. And so you and I, possibly, because we do not go to the market and find out the origin of this beef. Lagos State consumes more beef than 9 states combined together.
And so that's some of the states in graphical representation there of some of the highest, best consumption of beef.
Lagos number 1, Rivers State number 2, Oyo State, Cross River, Edo States. Now, these 5 states account for 1/3 of all beef that we eat in Nigeria. And so when we ask ourselves that who exactly are financing the equipment and the guns that these herdsmen use, we don't need to really look far. Because as families, even though we do not finance them intentionally, all the monies we use purchasing beef finds its way back to the hands of the herdsmen that purchased the AK-47s. So we do not need to look far. And so that is the background of Herdsmen 101. Now, the second thing we should look at is, what is the real cause of this problem, Gimba?
That takes us to 201.
That takes us to 201. Now, there are 3 causes based on the evidence we have today. What is this narrative? The first is politics of interest. The second is politics of division. And oh yes, the third is the politics of money. So let's start with the politics of interest. Today, in the North Central, we've got 19 senators. But that isn't the real reason why we have some crisis in Benue. It is because 11 out of these 19 senators are in the APC. And 9 out of the 11 APC senators in the North Central were formerly in the PDP. Now, if you thoroughly digest that we've got 11 APC senators in the North Central, and 9 out of these 11 were formerly in the PDP, allows you to understand that there's a lot of deceit going on in the North Central. And so even though Benue is the food basket of the nation, the North Central is the basket of deceit. With a lot of inconsistencies and juggling of power, it is hard to trust a politician who comes from the North Central, because you really do not know what he will do next. That is part of what is influencing the attacks in the North Central. Politics of interest.